Hello everybody, my name is JD, and today Snapshot 20W45A is already out. That means we can take a look at some of the things that 1.17 has to offer. We're going to do it right now. And I just created this world, just a random seed, but one of the first things that I found was this. This material is tuff. If you don't know what tuff is, that's actually the kind of rock that forms outside a geode. And here we go. We have an amethyst geode right here. There are various kinds of blocks in here, which we'll take a look at individually. But also, very lucky to find copper ore right here. So let's take a look at the Amethyst Geode blocks first. So we've got tuff here, which looks like it's kind of interesting looking. It's not quite like andesite, but it's similar colors. And then we've got the block of amethyst. Interesting sound. Music. That is one of the interesting things about amethysts. Here we've got budding amethyst. Again, music. I will talk about each of these in a moment. Now, this is a small amethyst bud. Again, there's more music sounds. This is a medium amethyst bud. Here is a large amethyst bud. And an amethyst cluster. So first of all, we have the block of amethyst, which can be mined. So you can gather it with a regular pickaxe. However, the budding amethyst cannot be mined. It just breaks. It's gone, even with silk touch. It's gone. Absolutely nothing left. Now these ones, if you mine I guess this is the budding amethyst, right? Or the small amethyst bud. So you break it, nothing. But if you use silk touch, you also get nothing. If you look at this one is the medium amethyst bud. Let's see what happens here. Nothing. And silk touch, we still get nothing. But for this one, large amethyst bud, what happens? And so it looks like you can't really get anything with these, but you can make sounds. Now with this one, which is the amethyst cluster, if you break this, you get amethyst shard. If you use silk touch, you get the block itself. Now, amethyst shards, they can be used like this, to create a block of amethyst. So you can make more of these. An interesting conflict I'm seeing in the wiki is it says that you can pick this up with silk touch, but the clusters you cannot. I'm wondering if it's backwards, but it seems like I can pick it up with silk touch. So who knows? I should also mention that the clusters do emit light at level 5. Now looking at the budding amethyst, you can place a bud on here and this will grow the buds. And eventually they will grow from the small to the medium to the large and then finally the cluster. Because the budding amethyst cannot be removed, you cannot create your own geode with this, and you won't be able to grow any of these. Well, you've got to use the geode itself if you want to create a lot of these things and get shards. So you'll have to rely on the geodes. Now, the geodes are usually not this easy to find. I was a little bit surprised that I found it right here. But let me just change. Let's go into Spectator. I'm trying to talk here. And let's see. We've got one here. Can we find more? Yes. We have found 2 right next to each other. And as you can see, they do create a glow in here. The clusters do. And yeah, over here too. This one is open. Very interesting. Now, there are some other blocks, and we're going to take a look at those. And I'm wondering if this is it right here. I'm sorry this is dark. Let me get some light in here. Yes, there we go. That's much better. You can see this is a new block. It's called Calcite. Now, this is another addition. It looks like you can find them around Amethyst Geodes along with tuff. It's kind of halfway between diorite and quartz. That's what it looks like. But I know some people may not like this so much because it looks kind of like diorite, but this is a much cleaner looking block, and I think this would be great for building. It has this texture that I think would go great in some builds. And as you can see back on this geode, this is calcite right here. Now let's take a look at copper. So this is the ore right here, and it drops just like any other ores. So I believe fortune is unaffected. And this will, of course, smelt into copper. So let's take a look at this. You can put the copper in here and the coal. Now this will come out with what? We get copper ingots. So you can see the color of it as well. Pretty nice copper color. So with this, you can use this to make copper blocks. Copper blocks can also be changed into a few different things, and we're going to take a look at that next. Now let's take a look at what we can make with the copper blocks. So we have cut copper here, so it looks like we can make that. We can also make waxed copper, but we need a honeycomb. And there are a few other things, but I'd like to show you all of the blocks you can make out of this. So here is the copper block. That's the first one we made. Right next to it is the cut copper, which we've also seen. This is cut copper stairs and cut copper slab. Now here, this is interesting. This is waxed copper. Then we have waxed cut copper, waxed cut copper stairs, and waxed cut copper slab. Now, I'm just curious here because these look identical. So copper block and waxed copper. They look exactly the same. But I'll show you something with this. So in 1.17, copper can weather. So this is our regular copper block. This is lightly weathered. This one is semi-weathered. And this one is weathered. Now, if you look at the waxed one here, so waxed copper block, this is the waxed lightly weathered copper, and this is waxed semi-weathered copper. There is not a weathered waxed copper block. Oh, that's a tongue twister. Yes, so these do come in all of these varieties as well. So you can access any of these. I'll just show it to you in here. So, hold on, there we go. So as you can see, we've got the cut varieties, we've got the stairs and the slabs, as well as the weathered. And again, you don't have the, not the weathered, the waxed, I should say. We don't have weathered waxed, because that doesn't exist. I'm guessing it's because waxed protects it, so it doesn't weather fully. Also, while we've been waiting, you can see we have a couple new buds here. So there we go. This one has grown up to medium-sized as well. Before moving on, I just want to add one thing about this. When you are making the waxed copper blocks, what you're doing is stopping it from weathering. So it depends on what state that you add the honeycomb to it. It will stop weathering at that point. So if you get it to a color that you like, then you can stop it from weathering. Otherwise, it'll just continue weathering until it turns into this color. There are a couple of items you can make with copper. So first of all, we're going to be looking at the spyglass, which you can use 2 copper ingots and an amethyst shard. Now let's take a look at what this can do. So you can zoom in. You don't need Optifine anymore. And that is really interesting. That's a pretty good zoom, but oh yeah, there's a mountain back there. But you know, some people will probably still want to use Optifine, but in Bedrock, now you can zoom in on anything, and that is great. The other thing that you can craft is the lightning rod. Now, this just uses 3 copper ingots. Now, this you can use to attract lightning, or well, it's really designed to protect wooden houses from burning down when getting hit by lightning. The weather is good, so I'm going to set the weather to thunderstorm right now. And I'm going to grab a channeling trident just so that I can show you this. There we go. So if I throw it over here, well, didn't hit anything. Didn't get anything at all. But if we have one of these guys come over here, but they're probably too stubborn. Yeah. But yeah. Anyways, if it hits it naturally, there is. Oh, it didn't hit that time. There is a redstone output. So when lightning is going to strike within a 16 block radius, it will be redirected to the lightning rod. Now, it does give a small redstone signal, but if it's with this, no redstone at all. Next up is something I absolutely love. You can make candles. All you need is a honeycomb and a string, and there you go. You got a candle. You can also make a colored candle by using one of those and one of those. So you got green candle right here. So I've got a few different ones. You can actually make, let's just go down to here. Should be decoration blocks. You can make all of the candles for each die. So you can make them many different colors. So you can place them down like pickles, sea pickles. So you can get a collection of 4. We can put 1. You can put 2 if you want. You can put 3 if you want. You can even put 1 on a cake. You can only put 1 on a cake though. As you can see, I just took a piece out of there. And goodbye. Now to light it, you use flint and steel. And there we go. All of them light up all at once. So now we have a new light source, which is absolutely amazing. I love this. I'm going to be using this a lot. Next up is a new kind of glass. We need 1 glass block and 4 amethyst shards, and we get, it looks like 2 tinted glass. Now, I would actually like to make many of them. Let's do that. There we go. We got 32. Now, this is a kind of glass that does not let light through it. So if I do this, and I'm going to leave this open here. Let's see what happens if we make a little house and go inside. All right, it looks like you can see through it, but now it is going to be dark in here. You can't see anything. Let me put this down. Now it's lit up in here. I'm going to put this down, and you won't get any light from there, even if it's nighttime. So if we go time set night, it's lit up inside, but not outside. This has some interesting applications. I'm kind of thinking you could make all glass mob farms. That would be interesting. You can see absolutely everything going on inside, and no light would get in. Let's try to collect it. Of course, I'm using a Silk Touch pickaxe, and it breaks. Let's try a regular pickaxe. Guess what? It works too. This kind of glass will break with either kind of pickaxe. You don't even need enchantments on it. Next up is something I've been excited about, and that is the bundle. You need 6 rabbit hides and 2 string. And this is a new form of, I guess you can call it storage, right? So what we can do here, you can place things inside. So if I do this, actually you need to right click and it goes in. I can't add anything else into it because it only allows you to hold one full stack. There we go. I got it out. So when you're holding it, you have to right click and it empties. Now let's try something else. I've got 58 string here. Right click and it's inside. I've got 34 tinted glass. Now I'm going to right click and 6 tinted glass went in. Now 58 plus 6 is 64. That's a full stack. So let's do this and everything is out. I right clicked. Of course, that's because I'm holding it. Now this is great because you can put like a bunch of random objects in. Like you got a lantern? There you go. You got, let's say 23 rabbit hides? Okay. Let's do, I don't know, 9 of these. How about 14 of these? Is that full yet? But you cannot put that in because this has its own inventory slot. We can put some more in there. Yeah, there we go. So 1 lantern, 23 rabbit hide, 9 tinted glass, 14 string, and 17 glass. And that is it. Now let's get it back. It's in our inventory again. There have been a few changes. If we take a look at the shovel, of course, you know, if you right click, you make a path, right? It is no longer called a path block. It is called a dirt path. If you use this on dirt, you can use it on coarse dirt, you can use it on podzol, and you can use it on mycelium. It works on all 4 of them, as well as grass. Another change is the addition of lava in cauldrons. You can now add lava. Before, all you could put in here was water. But this is getting closer to parity with Bedrock Edition. You can even put potions and dyed water in here in Bedrock Edition, but not in Java yet. Also, another change is with the piston, you will now get particles when something breaks, as you can see right there. Now, here is a huge change. You can place rail. You can place rails underwater now, as you can see. Let's put the rail, the minecart on top and just push it in. So you can just push that in and no problem. It goes through water. You can also pour water bucket. And let's put it on here. You can see it doesn't break any of the rails. And now we've got a flood. Now a couple of quick ones before we move on to one last really big change, which is really exciting. You can now craft firework rockets with the recipe book. And it just takes 1 gunpowder, 1 paper. So there we go. The other thing has to do with experience orbs. You will sometimes, if you're getting a huge quantity of experience orbs, they will now combine together, so it'll improve performance of the game. The last thing has to do with shulkers. I'm going to switch to survival and see if I can get them to attack. There we go. They're attacking. Now, hopefully, they're going to hit each other. There we go. They are hitting each other, maybe. But there is a small chance that I'm going to die. There we go. Now, as I was trying to say, there is a small chance that if they hit each other with their bullets, I guess they call them, there's a chance that they will spawn another shulker. So that means we now have the ability to spawn new shulkers. This creates the possibility of shulker farms, and that is amazing. But like I said, it's only a small chance that this can happen, but how would you make a shulker farm without getting killed yourself? So that is Snapshot 20W45A. There's a lot here, so this was a bit of a longer video, of course. But what did you find was your favorite thing? What are you excited about? What do you think you can do with some of these blocks? I think this is going to be very interesting. And yes, you can hear music when you walk across these. I am really excited for using candles as well as copper. And it's just really interesting how this is going to be changing the game. There's just so many possibilities now. I can't wait to see what the caves and the mountains are going to look like, as well as the goats. Although the goats have been put in the Bedrock beta, so we have seen them in Bedrock, but I'm not going to be covering those. So let me know in the comment section below what you think. What are you going to be using a lot of? If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you like what you see, then please consider subscribing. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.